To create our vendor registration form, we'll first log into our BillSpace page, click at Vendor Management, scroll down, click at Form Templates. Then we click Vendor Registration. So once you click Vendor Registration, you'll be directed to the Forms Library section where you can see all the templates that has been created inside BillSpace. And then you can also see the revision, whether it's an original or it's a revision, and also the status, whether it's approved, whether it's pending for approval, or even open. Right. So under the action button here, we have the add display over here indicating new revision. To create a new revision, this I button is to view previous revision forms, and then we have the clone form over here, right? So if you want to create a new template, we just click at new form, input our form name. So for example, registration for contractors. Click save. Right, so once you have saved, then by right you'll be able to view your template. But if to make it easier, you can just filter out your template names. So for example, registration for contractors. So whatever template status which is open, you will see this yellow pencil over here indicating to edit form name. So if you want to edit a form name, you can just click here and then you'll be able to edit your form name. Right, so the blue one is cloning form, and then the pink one is to delete the form. As long as it's open, you can still delete the form. Right, so now we want to prepare our vendor registration form. So what we want to do is we just click at the form name, and it will direct you to the registration for contractors where you can prepare the templates inside here. So to start off our template preparation, we click add section over here, and then you can put your section name. So for example, let's say company details. Click save. So you have your sections over here, and then the yellow one here is to edit your section name. The pink one is to delete your section. Right, so once we have our section, we can proceed to create a subsection. Let's create a subsection over here. Let's say I put one more, which is company details again. Click save. So you have your subsection. So similarly, the yellow one is to edit your section name, and then the pink one is to delete. So if you want to create a more than one subsection, we can just proceed to click add subsection. Let's say capital, company's capital, for example, and then we can click save. So you can see more than one subsection, so it will create a separate tab by itself at the side here. Right, so if you want to change the name, similarly you just select here. Let's say I change it to capital structure, and then we click save. So it will change the name for you like this. Right, so that's how you can actually create your subsection. Now let me explain on adding elements. Right, so to add element, we just click add element here. So we have more than one element type. We have a text box, which is just a normal text box, multi-line text box to allow a bigger area for the user to fill up in terms of multi-line details. For example, address, then you can use a multi-line text box. Right, and then we have email, so it will be an email formatting. URL, the answer should be in URL formatting. Numbers, let's say you just want numbers. So for example, the contact number, you can use the number. And then we have Radiobox, where the user can select one of the options select shown. And then we have checkbox, where the user can select more than one option. File upload is just an attachment. Drop down, where you can actually select based on the drop down menu. And then date time picker is just a date time selection, right? So let me show one by one. We have a text box. Let's just say I request for company name. So I can put in instructions over here. So let's say I inform them state the full company name, and then I can select whether it's required for the user to fill out the information, attachments to allow a section for them to attach, and then whether it's a key information or not. You can also select this one, right? Then we click save, right? So if it's a required item, then you can actually see this asterisk over here in red color, indicating that it is a mandatory item. So the instruction will be displayed at this section over here. Okay, so let me show the next one. Add element, multi-line text box. So let's say I request for company address. Let's say fill up the address of the main company's branch, of the company's main branch, for example. So let's say I put required, click save, and then multi-line text box will be allowing the user to have a bigger answer area like this, right? Let's move to the next one. Email, company's email address, and let's say I don't put required, I don't put attachment, I just put instruction to inform them to input active email address. Click save. So you can see the email address section over here. So just now I did not put as required, so I do not have the asterisk at the side of the element name here. Right, so let's move to the next one. We have URL. Let's say company's website. Save. So you can see the company website without any instruction. Okay, let's move to the next one. Numbers is just a number, so the display will still be the same, but it's just to allow the user to fill up in a number formatting. They won't be able to fill up in words format, right? So I'll skip on the number and I'll proceed to the radio box. So for radio box, you can actually input the label over here, which is the name that you want to input. Let's just put sample radio box, and then you can input the instruction. You can select required, you can select attachment, you can select key information, and the type here. So let's say you want to select state. So state, you will not have to key in anything. Country also, you do not have to key in anything. User type also, you do not have to key in anything. And also work category, you do not have to key in anything because it's predefined based on the system backend. Only custom is where we can actually select or input what we want to allow the user to select. So for example, let's say option 1. So if I want to create more than one option, I just select this add button. To delete, we just press this one, right? So let's say option 1, and then we have option 2, then we have option 3, and you can also click add other option to have other section. So let's say I click save, you will see something like this. So you have option 1, option 3, and others, and a box for them to fill out what is the others, right? And then we have checkbox. So similarly, let's say sample checkbox. Input any instruction, required attachment, key information, and then type. So state, country, user type, work category is also done at back end. We can only allow for custom for us to change anything. So let's say option 1, option 2, option 3, and so on. So let's say I add other option, click save. Right, so while Radiobox you can only select one item, checkbox allow you to select more than one item. So it's based on what is the criteria that you want from the user. And then we have file upload, which is just a normal attachment. So you can select, let's say, attachment, input and instruction, required, and also key information. Click save. So it will just be an attachment section. There is no any box for the user to key in anything. Then we have drop down. So let's say the drop down, let's say I put type of company, required, attachment, key information, select, and then we can select the selection type, whether it's single selection or multiple selection. Multiple selection means they can select more than one option. Single selection is just one option. And then similarly under type we have custom, state, country, user type, work category. So this last four is done at backend. You do not have to key in anything. Only custom is where we will have to key in the option that we want. So for example, let's say we have September height, we have joint venture, we have Berhad, and if you want to add in more you can just add in, click save. So it will look something like this, where they will only select one option. Okay, and then lastly we have date time picker. So date and time picker, select date and time. So you can actually, if let's say you need to set an appointment or anything, you can actually select this date and time picker. So you can select just a date and time, or just a date, or just a time, right? And then put the instruction, required, and attachment and key information, and click save. So they will have something like this for them to select the date and time accordingly, right? So that's how you can actually prepare your element section over here. So just now we have two subsections because I created two. If let's say you want to create a new section under at the same level as company detail, we just click add section here. Let's say I put in project experience, click save, and then I will have a new section for me to create a subsection, for me to create an element. All those will be able to be created accordingly. So that's how you can actually prepare your vendor registration template.